Now, I gotta say, I thought that when WWE and 2K Sports announced that Ukes would no longer be developing their WWE games, I thought that perhaps maybe this year's entry would have been a good buy. You know, maybe we would get an improvement. We wouldn't be getting the same games. Maybe Visual Concepts, the new developer, you know, that's been commissioned by 2K Sports, would finally be the one to get the WWE games back on track, something we haven't seen for years. Now we have to talk about something here for a minute. The WWE games have not been good for a very long time. In fact, the games are kind of like the product. They stopped making good games, just like they stopped making good shows following the Ruthless Aggression era. Now, there's been a lot of different changes and everything, and, you know, some of the games weren't that bad, like WWE 13, you know, it was okay, but it's been the same game now since that time. I mean, these games have not changed that much since WWE 12, I'll say. Why? Every single year do fans say that Here Comes the Pain and No Mercy are better games. Probably because those games stand out with better gameplay. They feel more natural. They're just overall better games in terms of gameplay and everything. So now we're taking a look at the current WWE game, 2K20. And so, you know, you put aside your personal feelings, you put aside Becky Lynch being on the cover, you know, you put aside that this game is being released during one of the worst periods in WWE history as far as the on-screen product. But, okay, you know, like I said, it's a game, right? So you can take a bad show and make a good game out of it, right? You know, like, first of all, because it's just a concept. And some of the Attitude Era stars and Ruthless Aggression Era stars are in the game anyway. So you can kind of make your own moments, you know, so you can kind of pretend that it's an Attitude Era game, you know, or pretend it's a Ruthless Aggression Era game. You can even pretend like it's in the 80s because they have, like, Hulk Hogan's back in the game and all this different stuff. So, you know, but in order for that to happen, the game would have to be good in the first place, and that's just not happening here. And how is this happening exactly? How can a game actually look worse? So it appears to me that 2K Sports has made another blunder again. The first blunder being that they didn't get Ukes off the project faster. They saw that they were making the same game over and over. They completely ignored the fact that the fans were not happy and that people were not going, you know, crazy for these games. They were still buying them. That's why they still make these games. You know, they still make enough money off them to keep putting out the sequels year after year, and it's the Madden effect. People want an updated roster. They want an updated game. They don't want to be playing last year's game, but enough is enough already. I have to ask people to be like me. I have not purchased a WWE video game since WWE 13. That's because when 2K Sports took over, I was smart enough to realize, I was observant enough to realize that even though it was under 2K Sports, 2K14 looked a whole hell of a lot like 2K13. In fact, some of the same moves and everything. They didn't even bother motion capture things, and some of the character models looked the same exact way. So, you know, over the years, they've changed a few things. They've altered certain camera angles and things like that. So, you know, they want to fool you into thinking that this is like a brand new game every single year by tweaking things and taking things out. Like, they're taking out the create a title. They're, you know, like, people have been screaming like the number one thing I've seen is for GM mode, but for some reason they're not putting that in the game, despite you're making these games for people. So if everyone who is playing these games is expressing what they want in the games, it's usually a bright idea to do it. Now, I usually say when it comes to the WWE TV product that you probably don't want to do that, because you're just drawing in the same fans week after week. But if you're so not only are you not drawing any new people into buying the video game, but the people who are already playing the game year after year are complaining. So no one's happy. No one's happy with the game. And forget about the gameplay. Can we talk about the graphics? I mean, we're in next gen here, right? I mean, we've been in next gen. We're almost on to the next generation of consoles. We're already talking about the Xbox Scarlet, the PS5, an updated Switch. So what is the excuse with the graphics here? And you look at the cover star, one of the cover stars, Becky Lynch. You look at the face mount. That's supposed to be a scan, right? Doesn't everyone get face scanned into the game? Why does her face look so terrible? Like, this just, I mean, you should probably make sure that whoever's on the cover, like Roman Reigns looks pretty good. But Becky Lynch, cringy Lynch here, Stone Cold cringy Lynch, looks absolutely horrific here. I mean, it's scary bad. Really, really bad. So let's talk about the career mode here for a moment. So I don't know where they got this idea from, but there's two characters that you're going to guide through career mode called Red and Trey. And I saw that there's going to be like X-Pac, Sean Waltman's going to do a voice. There's a few different appearances from different wrestlers here and there. But my God, what were they thinking here? I'm taking a look at the cafeteria scene. Because like these kids are like still in high school. And like she gets into a fight with the bully, and the bully then puts her in a headlock. And while this is all going on, and like, first of all, the voice acting is abysmal. I don't know whoever voiced these characters. The girls sounded very familiar. I couldn't put my finger on it who that was, but the graphics here, like, I don't know. I'm guessing because these were original characters and they weren't face scanned into the game, but even the face scanned wrestlers look bad. These graphics here, they're PS2 level. I'm just saying to myself here when I'm taking a look at this, like, how is this getting past quality assurance? How is 2K Sports not looking at visual concepts and saying, guys, this looks bad. This looks PS2 quality. Back in the day, if I were, trying to review or give my thoughts and opinions, and this was a PS2 game, I'd even tell you that was bad. I mean, this is below the mark. I mean, you want to talk about Here Comes the Pain. Here Comes the Pain looked like PS4 quality compared to this abysmal mess. I mean, this is bad. This is so bad. It couldn't possibly be any more bad. I mean, you'd have to be trying on purpose to make it this bad. And I'm really starting to question, like, obviously people are going to chalk this up to laziness, but like, isn't the technology there where it's almost impossible for it to look this bad? How is a big company like 2K Sports and a sponsor like WWE, how are they saying that this is okay, that you can put this out on the shelves for people to consume and play? You've got to be out of your freaking mind to put something out that looks this dreadful. This looks so bad. I mean, I don't know how you put this out. I mean, I'm bewildered here. I'm searching for answers, and I just can't find them. I mean, why does a game, and you can look through the roster here, and you will see, like, why does The Rock, why did he look better in Just Bring It? For God's sakes, he looked better in the first SmackDown game, and in SmackDown 2 Know Your Role. I mean, usually what the case is, that if there's going to be bad graphics, at least, let there be good gameplay, right? I mean, that was the case with No Mercy, in WCW, NWO Revenge, or World Tour, or WrestleMania 2000. All those games didn't have great graphics. They were all blocky, and a lot of the faces weren't even accurate. The Rock and Triple H especially looked terrible in No Mercy. But for some reason or another, probably because you had competent developers with AKI, they put out a great playing game that was fun to play, that people to this day are still obsessed with, and they still mod it. And Ukes, this is 2K's fault, because they saw where this was going. They saw that they had no passion anymore. They were churning out the same game year after year. And Visual Concepts is basically doing the same thing. They're just taking out features. Like, for example, they said they're going to take out to create a belt feature. Like, why is this being taken out? Like, you think about this. Like, there's next-gen consoles. We're already on, to the next gen, pretty much. We're almost there. So why are we taking out features that have been there since the very beginning? And they're like, oh, well, don't worry about it, guys. We're going to put that in the next installment. Instead, they give you WWE Originals, which, you get a graveyard. You get a backstage area. Oh, wow. This is so wonderful. Backstage areas, which were... which were pretty standard. They were there in the second SmackDown game, backstage areas. And now we're talking oh, we're being nice to you and giving you things. Like, you can't take things out of a game that's yearly like this and expect people not to complain, especially when the technology advances. You shouldn't be going backwards. Don't take, a step forward and then a step back, and this is just all a step back, because not only the graphics bad, but the gameplay is bad, and the features are lacking. No one is happy. And then I'm listening to there's this ridiculous excuse that now they've changed the reversals, they've changed the controls, and I'm all for this, because I was never a big fan of the controls for the later SmackDown games, around the SmackDown versus Raw times, and the way how they ended up later on with the WWE 12 and 13 games. But they put the reversal buttons on the face of the controller, and they chalked this up because they said that when you play the game online, the face buttons register a lot faster than the triggers. And, I don't know about programming anything. I gotta plead ignorance on that one, but for some reason, this is very comical to me. We can't figure out how to get the buttons to work properly with online. Why is this not an issue with shooting games? You know what I mean? Where pinpoint accuracy is a must. Why is it not a problem with Call of Duty or Battlefield or Fortnite or or any of these big top tier gaming franchises? But with WWE 2K20, we've got to change the trigger buttons and make it face buttons. Speaking of No Mercy, speaking of WCW, NWO Revenge, those games had the reversal buttons. They were the shoulder buttons. So, what? What? Are you kidding me? You want to make a change? You don't want to overhaul those controls and try to give people a more of an AKI experience? No. First of all, why are you not able to hire AKI in some way, shape, or form. Also, I need to ask, like, when Ukes were the ones who made Here Comes the Pain, why couldn't they, for some reason, make that game as good as Here Comes the Pain? All the games that followed that. I guess maybe the staff change or whatever the case may be, but, like, there's no excuse to have a game from 16 years ago be considered to be the last great SmackDown game, because like the SmackDown games are still to the 2K series. To me, they're all pretty much built from the same mold. Like they really are. I mean, if you go back and you play the first SmackDown game, and especially if you play like Here Comes the Pain, you will see the similarities. There is a certain look, there's a certain menu style. It hasn't changed that much. They were always very different than the AKI games. And this had a very distinct style. And that is because Ukes worked on all of them. So that's not really that big of a surprise. So to me, I know some people might consider it different, but they were always a part of the same series. So with that in mind, I don't know why their mentality changed, and even if there were different development team changes, there shouldn't have been, so much of a drop-off in quality, a drop-off in features and graphical capability. And you would think if visual concept is brought on, and you've got a team that's as experienced as Ukes, if you're gonna let them go, you better make sure that the team taking over knows what they're doing. And I'm taking a look here, and apparently that's not the case. They don't know what they're doing at all. This looks horrible. This looks amateurish. This is amateur hour if I ever did see it. I mean, you take a look at that cafeteria scene. For God's sakes, this is unacceptable. This is beyond bad. I mean, I'm just flabbergasted that they actually expect people to pay money for a game that looks this disastrous. They should be holding this game off. They hold it off. You see the response that you're getting online, but no, you're still going to try to take advantage of people and hope that they pay for your game. And I get that. It's always great to make money without having to apply any effort at all. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Who wants to really work hard? If you don't have to, why would you do so? So they know that people are going to buy the game anyway. So why work hard? There's no... God forbid if anyone has a sense of accomplishment of doing a good job nowadays, right? So, obviously that's not the case. They don't care, and their work shows for it. So, guys, I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you actually going to buy this game? If you are, I kind of understand, like, if you've bought, every SmackDown and SmackDown versus Raw and 2K game that's been released, and you're gonna buy this one like out of habit. I get it. I understand that. I stopped playing these games since WWE 13 for a reason. Even when 2K took over, I saw that 2K14 and 13 were basically the same game with a roster update and small little changes. I saw where it was going. I saw that Ukes was never going to change, and they were going to keep making the same game until the end of time, and that's pretty much what they did. They just only made it worse and worse. So, guys, anyway, please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get the notifications when I post on my new videos, and guys, I'll see you next time.